How's it going, everyone? We've got a pretty big update on Crimson Desert with some insight on the voice actors of the major characters around the game. I think a lot of people are a little bit surprised, as the character that played Eve is also playing one of the integral characters in Crimson Desert. I should say Eve from Stellar Blade. And we have some notes from Cliff's voice actor as well. This game has been in development for quite a long time, and it saw evolution as far as what kind of game it was, and Alec Newman, who is the voice actor, spoke a little bit about playing Cliff and why it was such a major undertaking for him and why it was such a big deal. So we'll talk all about that. Before we get into this video, I do want to note that if you're looking to pick up Crimson Desert on PC and Steam, check out our friends over at Greymane Gaming, as they do have the game discounted. Use the code FEB15, that's FEB15. You'll save 15% off on the game, and you'll get it for south of $60 for the standard edition. They have the deluxe edition as well. You could use the same code and save 15% off. You'll get a Steam code for the game. It'll redeem directly on Steam, and you will be good to go. So check it out, link in the description box below. Alright, so the Epic Games Store has a lengthy article about the voice actors, and they discuss what it takes to bring a grand adventure like Crimson Desert to life by Rick Lane on the EGS page. When Alec Newman landed the role of Cliff in Crimson Desert, he didn't expect it to become one of the most significant roles of his career. The Scottish actor, who has worked in film, TV, and games, joined the cast of Pearl Abyss's open-world action-adventure title back in 2021. It is now 2026. If you want to say that his work wrapped, a year ago or so, that's still a significant undertaking that he had to go through to play Cliff. The project was at such an early stage that even as Newman recorded lines for Cliff, he didn't know precisely who he was playing. Sometimes the processes of development mean that at the recording end of things, actors can be a little bit in the dark. We don't always get the full details in the beginning, says Newman, whose previous roles included Paul Atreides in the TV miniseries adaptation of Frank Herbert's Dune, Atom Smasher in Cyberpunk 2077, and Cameron Kaz McCleary in 2023's Still Wakes the Deep, for which he won the BAFTA for performing in a leading role. For a bit at the start, I didn't know that Cliff was the lead character in the game. And now, fast forward to 2026, with Crimson Desert a month away, Cliff has now become a facet of Newman's life. I've played this character longer than I've played anything, he says. It's been extraordinary to watch it all grow. Newman's experience performing for Crimson Desert encapsulates the curious relationship between acting and video games. Modern video games increasingly depend upon a vast range of acting talent to bring life and character to their worlds. Hopefully that continues, because I know that that has been a concern as far as voice acting, the industry in totality, especially with the emergence of AI. Dedicated voice actors with decades of experience, classically trained thespians, and Hollywood stars, today's video games even have the power to make stars of their actors, forever aligning them with stories and characters adored by millions of fans. Think about Ben Starr, one of the breakout voice actors of the last few years. Yet, unlike film or TV, where the processes of creation are relatively well understood, acting for video games can be much more mysterious. Now, Newman, speaking on playing Cliff, noted imagining him as a Scotsman helped with identifying some of his traits and attitudes, and natural skepticism and watchfulness. Specifically, Newman was inspired by the voice and mannerisms of his wife's stepfather, Graham Fleck, who died in 2022, not long after Newman took on the role. His voice was low, almost a growl sometimes. It's a lower register than my natural speaking voice, but it brings an attitude that seemed to work for Cliff. There was a danger in his voice, but also enormous warmth and a sense of loyalty. I hope using his voice as inspiration for Cliff will mean he'll live on somehow. Cliff has a sort of gruff cynicism as a default, but as we move through recording, we embrace the chances to see other parts of his personality too. He is capable of great emotion and not just aggression or ferocity. The sense of family with the other Greymanes is probably at the emotional core of Cliff. Now, outside of Cliff, while there hasn't been a ton of attention put around the other two characters, there are two other playable characters. There's the Orc Unka and Damiane. My apologies on the pronunciation. They haven't really spoken a lot on those characters. This is the first time we've gotten a significant insight on these two characters, and Unka is voiced by Stuart Scudamore, known for his roles as Bob Gadios in Amazon's Carnival Row, and Rictus in Netflix's League of Legends tie-in series Arcane, noting, I actually landed in the role of Unka in Crimson Desert through the side team. I submitted a self-audio tape initially for two different characters characters from different factions, and ultimately they chose me to play the nomadic, fiercely loyal Greymane Unka. Like Cliff, Unka is a gruff, laconic type, a trait which Scudamore aimed to emphasize in his performance. He isn't silenced because he lacks emotion, he's silenced because he is choosing his words very carefully. That kind of restraint, being economical with expression and thoughtful before taking action, is something I deeply admire. Damien, on the other hand, is performed by Rebecca Hansen, who is best known for Eve in Stellar Blade. This is going to be another significant role for her. Hansen has also voiced Alfrea in Baldur's Gate 3 and played Queen Meme and Lyria in Netflix's TV adaptation of The Witcher. For Hansen, playing Damien allowed her to explore a different side of her personality. I'm more of a people pleaser by nature, but it was incredibly cathartic to draw upon my sense of justice while playing Damien. Instead of being prim and proper, she's a strong, independent, and assertive individual who isn't afraid to speak her mind to do what she thinks is right. Allowing players to inhabit 3 fully voiced characters in a fully open and explorable world is a huge developmental and organizational challenge, yet it's a level of ambition that modern video games frequently aspire to achieve, and that's a lot of depth for the game. When we talk about all of the content in the open world, think about all of the content in the open world that has 3 different playable characters with distinct play styles as well, and different things you could do as each of the characters. I find that to be fascinating, and on top of that, you're talking about all of that with other ambitious elements as well. There's a lot this game is doing that I'm happy that they've gone full on the promotional run with the game in terms of giving us insight into it, and it makes me very, very confident. I know that there was an air of pessimism around the game. The one element that I am still a little bit concerned about is the performance level of the game, but hopefully we'll get some clarity on that here very, very shortly. As far as the design philosophy and Pearl Abyss's approach to voice work, Newman says that the bare bones of Pearl Abyss's approach to voice work is similar to how all games are recorded. Typically, that process starts with the character looks like rather than sounds like. The visuals are often the key to the voice of the character for me, Newman continues. Cliff's appearance and bearing were really helpful in coming up with something. These visual references may be provided prior to recording, but are typically made available during the process too. Our brilliant director Mark Healy is the fount of all knowledge when it comes to the world of Crimson Desert, and he had printed out boards with all of the different characters and locations you might encounter throughout the game. There's a lot of information about Crimson Desert, and specifically the voice work and acting within the game, and acting in general in video games. I think you'll find it very fascinating. I'll leave a link in the description box below. Check it out for yourself because it's a lengthy article, and I think a lot of you guys will find a lot of insight into it. And I know a lot of the attention on Crimson Desert has been around the gameplay facets of the game. We have a general idea of the story. Look, the foundation of the story sounds like a fairly typical revenge story. You get overtaken, you're trying to rebuild your camp. This isn't breaking new ground as far as the setup to the story. I always say, whenever there's a setup that's, you know, kind of a common thing in gaming, it's all about execution, and hopefully Crimson Desert has a fairly well done execution throughout what I'm sure is going to be a very, very lengthy campaign. We are quickly approaching the release of the game. It's only a few weeks away at this point, and there's going to be more insights, preview videos. There's content creator previews coming as well in the next week, and I'm sure we'll get a lot more insight, and I'm sure they'll eventually give us clarity on the performance specifications, since at this point I feel like that's what most people are waiting on. But that's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please check out that post on the Epic Games Store because it's a very, very insightful post on a lot of facets, not just the game, but voice work in general. And I think a lot of you guys will find it an interesting read, especially in the current climate of today's industry and in the world in general. So that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, sound off there. Let me know your excitement level for Crimson Desert, if you're gonna pick it up day one or if you're still on the fence. Again, your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.